Any updates on Jace's status and how's he been kind of doing so far today?
I haven't seen him yet. I assume he's still in bed. I'll see our trainer here at practice this afternoon, but just not really planning on him doing anything until right before the game. I know we have team doctors here, so whatever can possibly be done to help him feel the best, we'll do. But I have no updates at this time.
We've talked a lot about a lot of the guys who have never been to Omaha before, and Max is one of those guys. How have you assessed how he's been able to call the pitches and enjoy his time and take in everything?
Yeah, Max is a special human. He came. The day that he came on his interview, the night before, he was running things in the Futures game in the Mariners Stadium. So, pretty sure he can handle the College World Series. But he's handled it all great the whole year. Max is he's much better than me in terms of enjoying the moment. So he stays in the moment really well. He can appreciate the environment while also staying focused on the task at hand, and that falls in that translates to our pitchers. So he's a pretty unique guy, and certainly one of the best hires that I've ever made, along with Nolan and Mike. I've been a part of some special coaching staffs. The guys have gone on to be really good head coaches, but this is the most cohesive, synergetic. Is that a word?
Sure. We'll go with it.
A lot of synergy on this coaching staff, and that parlays itself into the players, which is awesome. It's fun to be around.
When it comes to pitching, and I know you're still over 24 hours away from playing a game, you still know your opponent yet, but how are you guys planning to go about that, and do you have a starter?
I don't have a starter. I've been in this scenario, but haven't pushed through it. So I think what you try to do is you look at the matchup, what gives you the best chance to win. I think a part of your decision has to be the rest of the tournament too, but you can't get to the rest of the tournament if you don't win one more game. So, I got to see how some guys feel. Cortez said he felt great last night, so I would imagine he would be a part of that in some form. Prager would not be a part of that, obviously, but it would be huge to have him fresh and ready to go this weekend. So we'll wait and see how at practice guys will play catch, see how everybody feels, and then watch the game tonight and make a decision tomorrow.
In that vein, does having potentially two opportunities to win that final game to make the finals, does that play into how you go about the pitching decisions?
It does. I'd have to go back and look at what I did last time in 2016 when we were in this scenario. I remember thinking, maybe take a shot at something different in the first game, knowing you can do something different in the second game. Because if you take a shot at doing something different in the first game, then you maybe you're lined up better for the championship. But that didn't work out. Coastal Carolina beat us. We had to win one game, they had to win three, and they did it. So we'll see. This is a much different pitching staff than that TCU team, simply because of the injury. But we also have more options, guys that throw a lot of strikes. So I thought Stewart did a great job. I think he only threw 30-some pitches, so that's super helpful. And I think looking at the weather, last time I checked, our game as of now, of course, looks like they've missed on the weather today, but our game as of now was going to have like in the 60s with a north wind, means the wind blowing out, so that can play a role. So, but yeah, I think you look at all the factors.
Being in this situation before, you've already talked about kind of some of the things you've learned, but what do you feel like is going to be key to finally get over that hump and get to the finals?
Number one, have a healthy team. Hopefully get Jason there. But just situational hitting. I thought, we had a bunch of great situational at bats yesterday. Using the whole field to hit, playing outstanding defense. You're going to have some guys that you're not counting on play well. And I think any championship has that in it, right? So I think some guys that haven't pitched yet are going to have to give us something. Rudis is obviously going to play a role in that. Caden Wilson, Badmiev, Weston Moss, Tanner Jones. If we're going to do this, it's going to, all those guys hear me say that all the time, and then they never get in, and then the time comes, and now you're in, like Jack Bell yesterday. So, or Grahovic running the left field. So, we'll bring it up to them again. But it just comes down to good baseball. You know, like it's like any other game. I think our guys are handling the environment great. We just need to play well.
And what has this team showed you so far this postseason run that gives you confidence that this is a team that can make the finals and
Yeah,
win?
I mean, they've shown us everything there is to be seen. You know, we have talented players. We've had guys go down with injury, and our team hasn't shied away from that. We've been down both super regional games, right? They were losing in both super regional games and came back to win. So I think this team's shown you win 51 games. I mean, you've pretty much shown everything there is you need to see to win a championship. You just got to go do it. But there are some other really good teams here. Obviously, the teams on our side and Tennessee's playing as good as anybody in the country. They're at full force, I think. At least it looks like from the outside looking in. So, but we just can't. We just got to win one more game, and then we'll worry about it later.
When you look at the positional shifts that were made last night after Jace went out, you had 3 freshmen and a sophomore involved in that. Is this about as versatile of a freshman class in the position player-wise that you've had to be able to make those changes?
Good question. I think we've talked about that since day one. I always say like the best ability is availability, and after that, versatility. Not spelled the same, but close. So, we train all year. For example, Jack Bell takes ground balls every day at all 3 spots, third, short, and second. Kent takes them at 4 spots. We've had Grahovic and Jack Bell all week take balls in the outfield because we knew we were bringing one less, outfielder out there. He's not available the rest of the year, but I had Sadeo take balls in the. He's one of our best outfielders on our team, to be honest with you. So we have him take balls in left field if we were ever in a situation where we were down a position player. So my thought process has always been it's not so much a negative mindset. It's all right, if X and Y happen, how do we be ready for that? I feel like that's my job is to when something goes super south, how can we recover and handle it? Appel came to me during the game and said, Coach, I'm a really good outfielder. I said, yeah, but you're a really good catcher. You're going to handle the ball way more behind the plate than in the outfield. So yeah, that's just being a ball player. We try to recruit winning players so they understand baseball and they understand what it takes at every position. So we're prepared for this.
How have you seen Braden just handle his injury, but also just how great is it to see him being so engaged in the dugout and being like the loudest guy in there? Yeah,
it doesn't change. He's been that way all year. When he's playing, he's obviously a little more quiet. He's preparing for his at bat, or he's just come off the field. But we had a conversation when he got hurt, and it was an easy conversation about now you got to go be the, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you've been a 10 teammate, try to be a 15. And seeing him up there, that gorgeous smile he has, he's always positive. You hear him in the dugout, and that's important. It's like it's a security blanket because he's a big part of the team.
You talked about how some of the older guys in the lineup have helped with the younger guys. Just how do you feel like that's continued throughout the postseason and just kind of gotten them to where you are now?
I think again that's gone the entire year. I think we're past all that, except for maybe a guy like Jack Bell. He's going to need some nurturing. But he started when we played that Tuesday night Texas game. We started him at second base. He threw one away yesterday, but at least he got in there. So if we needed to go out there this week, he'll be ready. Just getting his mindset right is important, and it's always better when it comes from a player instead of the coach.
Can I fire a local question?
Sure.
So you said that you recruit players who want to win. So I coach locally, and over the years since your days at TCU and here, you've seen Omaha's players get better and better. How do you assess how the programs and how the players are coming to Division I programs from this whole area?
You mean the talent of the player?
The talent of the player in Omaha.
Yeah, this, as I've said many times, this is the golden age of college baseball. No disrespect to all of the great players that have been in Omaha, whether it be Rosenblatt or here. It's just because now there's a 20-round Major League draft. There's fewer professional baseball teams. so you have more great players staying in college and more great players like Grahovic and Lavalette coming to college. So it's just college baseball, the investment at the highest level, especially in the SEC, in your top conferences, the investment in facilities, the investment in coaches. You see Wes Johnson, who's now the head coach of Georgia. He was the pitching coach on a pennant contending major league team, and he left in the middle of the season to be a college pitching coach. Our pitching coach left professional baseball. So college baseball is such a great option at the highest levels for both the players and the coaches, financially, facilities, development, lifestyle. The lifestyle in college baseball is so much, in my opinion, better than the lifestyle of the minor leagues for a family, for a young family. So you have great coaches, you have great players, you have great facilities, you have great commitment. So the product, therefore, is going to be better.
And you would say that for the players coming out of high school in this area specifically?
In any area.
In any area.
In any area. In any area. I mean, I'm obviously biased to college baseball,
Sure.
but I think, and the numbers prove it, the fastest route to being a major league player is to go to college. Mm-hmm. And you enter professional baseball in a much more mature physically situation, mentally, socially. You're more ready to handle the rigors of minor league baseball. And then you get up to the big leagues. Look at Paul Skeens, look at, so many more and more players now are getting to the big leagues from elite college baseball pretty fast.
You talked about, Jace, defensively maybe being the biggest concern with his injury. Is there, and I know Hayden's a little banged up too, in terms of him possibly being able to take the field to open up a DH spot, is that, I'm not saying you would do it, but is that a possibility?
Yeah, it's for sure a possibility. I think if you can score from first base on a double like he did the other night, or try to stretch a single to a double like he did last night, he can certainly catch a fly ball. Is he going to catch the same fly ball that Sorrell or Jace would catch? Yeah, probably not, but it is what it is. And so I think the thing you got to think about, the thing I think about as a coach is, you don't want to get, if you're going to, I don't want to say worse, but if you're not going to be as good in a spot, that's much better than not being as good in 2 or 3 spots, right? You don't want to make wholesale changes if you can avoid it. So yes, that's definitely a possibility.
Do you? I know you've been here a while. Do you allow yourself any Omaha fun time? Go to the baseball village. What's your favorite part about off the field here? If you allowed yourself any of that time?
Yeah, I definitely allow myself some of that. My favorite is, my children are grown. They don't live near me. My parents live on the East Coast, so having them all here, my favorite time is just like last night, coming back and having my parents and my children and family in my room and hanging out with them. Going to, we had a great Father's Day dinner. We'll have a dinner tonight. I don't go around my routine when I come to Omaha is the first day I'm here, I go buy my stuff, my hat and maybe a pullover or two, and then from that point forward, I try to stay locked in on winning.